Being busy feels productive, but most of the time, it is not. Busy is motion, productive is progress. And those two things get confused constantly. I see this everywhere. People with full calendars, endless meetings, long to-do lists, late nights, and very little movement in their business. The problem is not effort. The problem is focus. Being busy is usually a sign that priorities are unclear, or there are too many things being treated as equally important. Productivity requires the opposite. It requires choosing what actually matters and letting everything else wait. One of the biggest mistakes people make is measuring their day by how much they did, instead of by what actually moved the business forward. Answering emails feels productive, attending meetings feels productive, checking things off a list feels productive. But most of these activities just maintain the business. They do not advance it. Progress usually comes from a much smaller set of actions, and those actions are often uncomfortable, or require thinking, or forced decisions. That is why they get avoided. This is where the distinction really matters. Busy work fills time. Productive work changes outcomes. For me, productivity comes down to something very simple. Every day, I identify 3 non-negotiable items that push the business forward. Not 10, not a list of everything I want to get done, 3. Those 3 items are chosen deliberately. They are the actions that, if completed, make the day a win, regardless of what else happens. And my day does not end until those 3 are done. Everything else is optional. That does not mean everything is unimportant. It means everything else is secondary. Emails can wait, messages can wait, small fires can usually wait. Progress cannot. This approach forces clarity. You cannot hide behind activity when you only have 3 slots. You are forced to ask a better question. What actually moves the business forward right now? Not what is loud, not what is urgent, not what feels responsible, what actually matters. Another important part of this is leverage. If something does not belong in those 3 items, it's either delayed, delegated, or eliminated. That is how you protect your time. A lot of people say they do not have time to be productive. What they really mean is that their time is unprotected. Productivity requires boundaries, and boundaries require saying no to things that feel important in the moment. Busy people, they say yes by default. Productive people, they say no by default. This also changes how you experience the day. When you are busy, the day feels reactive. You're always responding to something. When you are productive, the day feels intentional. You are executing a plan you choose ahead of time. That reduces stress, even when the work is really hard. There's also a psychological benefit here. Completing the 3 non-negotiables builds momentum. You end the day knowing that progress happened. That matters more than clearing your inbox. Another mistake people make is stacking their days with small tasks and pushing the hard work to tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next quarter. The business just stays stuck. The 3-item rule really flips that. Hard things get done first, everything else adjusts around them. This is especially important as the business grows. As you scale, the number of things demanding your attention increases. If you do not tighten your definition of productivity, you drown in activity. More people, more messages, more decisions. Without discipline, busy becomes the default. Productivity has to be designed. This is not about working longer hours, it's about working on the right things. Some days, those 3 items take 2 hours. Some days, they take the entire day. The length does not matter, completion does. And yes, there are days when things go sideways. Emergencies happen, real issues come up, but even then, the question remains, did anything meaningful move forward today? If the answer is no too often, something needs to change. At the end of the day, being busy is easy. There's no shortage of things to do. Being productive requires restraint. It requires judgment. It requires the willingness to disappoint people in the short term, but it creates progress in the long term. If you feel constantly busy but rarely satisfied with the results, try this. Tomorrow, choose your 3 non-negotiable actions that are going to push your work forward. Finish them before anything else, then stop. Everything else can wait or be leveraged. If this was useful, let me know in the comments. And if you want more conversation about building businesses with clarity and intention, you can subscribe here. See you on the next episode.